Booyah! Tippy tie, my damies, and welcome to episode 17 of Reviewedly Interrupted, where I'll be going down a route that people will probably be like, please don't do that, but I'm going to anyway. I'm going to do I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yes, basically the era of slashers that was the new metal era of slashers. Like if you could put Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that stuff and make them into a horror movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, Urban Legends, what's that one? Cry Wolf, all that kind of shit that came out around that. It was all like kind of same. Even the Halloween movies, in a way, kind of mirrored it a little. You know, I'd say around like H2O and Resurrection. Even though it's like I think, like I'd have to really like jump into the genre and like study it, but I think the kills even were a little less gory in those Halloween movies, and it was always like, oh man, here's like some young beautiful people, let's kill them, you know. And I Know What You Did Last Summer was one of the big ones of that, which I don't know, I don't mind these, you know, because it really was an era, a certain time capsule era. It's just like, you know how there's like the certain era of cannibal movies, you know, even newer ones are cool, but there's just a certain era where they were like, wow, you know, and Italian zombie movies that were coming out, you know, in the early 80s and shit. Just certain eras of shit. We like, you know, the 80s slashers and just like the different 80s horror films like Night of the Demons and all that kind of shit, you know. And then the 90s, how the 90s kind of changed, and it's like the slashers and the horror movies kind of had a different vibe to them, you know, different look, a little bit of a different feel, and then bled into these kind of motherfuckers. Got like this, I think I said before already that I got this at like a Dollar General, or I'm pretty sure a Dollar General or some shit. And, you know, I was like, yeah, it's got the whole trilogy, so why not, you know? And I did see on Amazon that there is a Blu-ray collection of these, but it's currently unavailable. And I saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I still know what you did last summer, but I don't know if I saw I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer on Blu-ray. So it's like either pick them up separately or in the set. There is a different DVD set that has like a whole bunch of shit, but it's like, you know, it's almost tempting, but it's like, you know, I'm moving into that Blu-ray area. It took me a while, but I'm getting in there. And there's even like the link I think I put in there is for the Blu-ray of I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's like 4K. They came out with it in 4K, so I mean, sure, they're coming out with like everything in 4K now. It's the next logical step after, you know, now that it's a thing, you know, like everything went to DVD after VHS and then Blu-ray after DVD. Now everything's going to go to 4K, but you know, the fact that they threw it in there is pretty cool, you know, because this era has grown on me, you know, just because it's like this shit was coming out like, you know, after I was already into horror movies for a while, but I was still young, and I was, you know, I wasn't really giving them that much of a chance and everything. I think the only reason I gave I Know What You Did Last Summer a little bit of a chance was because of Jennifer Love Hewitt. At the time, I was like, all right, you know, but just this whole era, like it has really grown on me, because this is like almost like the next generation's like classic. I would go rent this movie at the video store when I was this age era, you know? And yeah, like I said, it's grown on me. It's totally a type fight. It's a definite fucking genre, you know? And it's been a while since I watched it, so I mean, you know, it's gonna be cool to watch it again and kind of like, you know, get back into it and stuff, because, you know, I remember very little about it, because it seriously has been a very, very long time since I've watched it. So, you know, I don't really remember a ton about it, just little bits and pieces and shit like that. And It's gonna be actually pretty cool to like, you know, watch it again. Fucking why not? I mean, listen to this cast. Like how I was saying, like, let's get young, beautiful people and put them in a situation where a fucking unknown killer or a masked killer or whatever, some kind of killer that you don't know who their identity is coming to fucking murder them. Like, look, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippines. He's from the Philippines. His family actually named the Philippines. Ryan Philippines is a part of like the original Philippines in the Philippines. Don't Google that, or at least at the very least somebody go put that on his Wikipedia page because that'd be hilarious. Freddie Prinze Jr., Johnny Galecki, Brigitte Wilson, like just like those four young people in there. It's just like, I just think it's kind of funny. Just like how in Scream it was like, these young rising stars, and like it just kind of cracks me up in a way. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get baked and watch this movie for again. And it's like I wish summer would come to our town because it is not summery at all. So I know what I did last summer. I drove across country to get to here on the other side of the continent with my baby. We drove the whole way. It was awesome. And that was summer, and that was hot, and it was nice, and it was humid and beautiful. This summer, kind of a letdown. But let's just hope this summer isn't a letdown this time. To me, I don't think it's going to be. I'm going to enjoy it. I usually do enjoy movies. I find something to enjoy about them. Whether it's one little part or just certain things like the vibe, the music, whatever. But, yeah, so I'm gonna go watch this right now. I'm gonna go watch this one. I'm gonna go watch beautiful people get stalked and murdered. Because it's my favorite. Beautiful people. I am ugly, so therefore I hate beauty. All beauty must be destroyed by Raincoat Hookman. Raincoat Hookman must destroy all beauty to make me feel better. I'll see you in a bit, guys. All right. Wa-da-ta. Wa-da-ta. Wa-da-ta-da. 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 Well. I know what you did last summer. So schlocky. It's like, when you watch it, it's actually so very schlocky. It's like all these pointless red herrings and everything to build the tension and everything. And they really, like, Scream was really different. You know what I'm saying? It had this cool premise. Wes Craven has this type of, like humor that he adds to it where it's like, come on, it's kind of funny. It's like these killers were like, wanted to see what it was like to kill or whatever in the fuck. It's been a while since I watched that one too. But, they follow horror movie fucking rules and shit like that, And so it's like Wes Craven kind of has his way of doing it. But it's like these movies, man, tries to build a lot more on tension. I mean, blood is pretty minimal. Absolutely no gore. I mean, even like the one scene where the sister Elsa gets like attacked and motherfucked up by a dude, like the blood splatter on the glass. It's like you look at it and you're like, oh, but then you're like, wait, I've seen movies where they would have went like, and there might even been some squirting blood as after the initial, but it's like very minimal, a lot more like blood streaks, a little bit of blood splash, blood on the murder weapon, so it is very watered down. It's very Hollywood, very, very Hollywood. Let's get the young, sexy set in there to, asses in the seats. And like this one really spent a lot of time on, building like the romantic tension between Freddie Prinze Jr. Oh yeah, and by the way, that's Prinze with a Z. I thought it was Prince with a C. And as it turns out, he is not Prince's illegitimate son like I thought. I thought Prince's real first name was Eddie. I thought Prince was actually just not his name, but it actually his last name, like he was going by his last name. And as it turns out, I have no idea what I'm talking about. That they are not even closely related. So that's Prince, not Prince. Remember that. He's not a prince either. Just to throw that out there. I looked it up. He's not of any country that has any kind of monarchy. He is not a prince or a prince in waiting. It's Prince with a Z. But anyway, like the Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr. like tension with them, with like the romantic tension, and even the Ryan Phillippe and the Sarah Michelle Gellar like little tension after, it's like they're seeing each other again after a year and really hanging out at the parade, the smile that they give to each other and all this other bullshit, it's like they really played up on that because I guess it was like, I don't know, what was this rated? It was only rated PG, I think. Wasn't it? No, it was rated R. Okay, it was rated R. But like, it's very watered down, so it was definitely like one of those like, for teens and shit. And I don't know, and it's like around this generation of like slasher film, this era of nu metal slasher, like the soundtracks, like as far as like just the music, the soundtrack music that's playing underneath, it's like very Hollywood, just like orchestral, the typical, that's been going on forever. And then, they'll add like rock songs or songs by artists that are out there doing shit. And the movie, and it's like the soundtracks, they're hit and miss. Some of these movies actually have like really badass, like fucking nice soundtracks where it's like they're either all good or it's like, some good and some bad, or just like mostly bad. This one is actually mostly bad. I mean, it starts off with Typo Negative's Summer Breeze, which is fucking great, but then it's kind of all downhill from there. I actually do like Kula Shaker's version of Hush. It's very jammy. It's like, it's got that upbeat fucking Deep Purple vibe, but it's a little more modern and shit. But like, other than that, a lot of the music was just dog shit. And I totally forgot about that. That's right. Sarah Michelle Gellar was in Scream 2. So she kind of like, jumped around in these movies. And like, I don't know, I'm debating on watching I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, just to like, round out the trilogy, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for that shit yet. I'm not sure. And like one thing I do not like about this set is like when companies would do this shit. Hey, you have all the discs and then let's stack them. You see the other side of this disc? That's the scratchable part. You don't want that touching like really anything as much as possible. And so when they did that, it's like, I'd much rather have like the little thing where it's like maybe one was stuck over here and it's got the little flap and there's one there and maybe one on the other side of that or all the way on the back. Just something like that. Even if it was like a one over here and this has kind of like the staggered thing where it's like you pop one off, it's like that's still a little iffy, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this is, for better or worse, an era of slasher that was ushered in. Oh, 97? So this came out in 97. Okay. So like, yeah, definitely like 97. That was definitely around that time and shit, where, like I said, for better or worse, this was a whole era, a whole genre of slasher, the mid 90s to early 2000s slasher, where it's just like, there's so many movies that fall into it, where it's like, once you really start looking at it, you're like, some of them are pretty good. Some of them sucked ass, but it's a whole little time capsule that is in the horror genre now. It became just like a little tiny phenomenon, anemones, Phenomenes. Words. Where, like I was saying before, Scream, I know he did last summer, Urban Legend, Halloween H2O, come on. That was another one. I would even say, like, they were much, like, they weren't as watered down as, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, but even things like, H2O, fucking Halloween Resurrection. This one might make people a little, like, don't add that movie in with this, but The Faculty. I mean, come on, Josh Hartnett and all that shit and that too, It's like there was this whole genre of, like, movies around then of, like, either slashers, or even though The Faculty isn't really a slasher. I wouldn't add that into it's like related to, but it's like not directly in the same genre, but it's the same thing at the time. Let's get the young, let's get the hip, let's get the beautiful, let's get them in there, let's get them in situations and let's kill some of them. But we'll have a couple of the beautiful, one or two of the beautiful people survive. Hey, And I mean, it was also one of the era where they still added, like, the jump scares, like, for no reason. Like, okay, motherfucker kills Elsa, and then it's like what's the fuck's downstairs, and she's like, oh man, I think that's him underneath the plastic tarp. Oh, what do you know it is? Why did he do that? Why did he do that and jump out at her? He could have just, like, did some shit, but it's like the unneeded jump scares, like, especially the one at the end, it's just kind of funny. So it's like, even though these movies tried so hard to be so, like, mature in Hollywood, pure fucking camp. Yes. This isn't the camp that us old fuckers are like, that's our nostalgic camp, our retro nostalgic camp. This was like another generation of camp right here. The young motherfuckers are going to be like, oh, that is so campy. That's so, oh, what? Why are they doing a jump scare here? What? What's going on? Why is there so much romantic tension? Blah, blah, blah. That's this generation. So for better or worse, you don't have to love these movies. You don't even have to like these movies. But they will forever be one of the subgenres of horror now. This era of cheesy. And, really quick, I want to give a heads up to what I'm going to be doing next week. All I know about this movie is what I've read from the back. And I read, like, the little synopsis, and I was like, that sounds pretty fucking interesting. It could be pretty cool, or I don't know. It was a 2-disc collector's edition DVD, so I was like, yeah, and it was super cheap, so I was like, I'm picking it up. We'll give it a shot, and we'll see what happens. But next week, I'm going to be doing Lung. Like I said, I really don't know anything about this movie, Lung, yet. And what's cool is the special edition came with Lung 1, Lung 2. This is all from Unearthed Films. And, yeah, Unearthed Films. I don't know if I have much of their stuff, but they put out some pretty cool indie stuff, I think. If I remember correctly, it's like a little more under the radar kind of stuff, and it's pretty cool. Some cool special features on there I'll probably check out just because, to get a little more into it. But yeah, Lung, that's what I'm doing next week. Next week? Shit, it could be in 2 days. I don't have a timeline for this. Next episode. What am I talking about? Words again. I don't know words. I am words. I am not words. But yeah, so, like I said, though, it's like, it's so funny. It's that whole genre where it's like very campy, especially when you follow it and you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, they're trying to do so many red herrings. Is that the guy over there? Because it's a brain slicker. Oh my God. No, it's not him. Oh my God, he's over there. He's actually doing this shit over there. And it's just so funny. It's like, if you watch the movie and you're like, okay, I see what they were trying to do, but here's what they actually achieved. Like the campy, just kind of like, it's a little hokey in a way. It's like, how did he have enough time to get a dead body and some crabs out of that trunk so fast and disappear? Come on. It's like, it's campy. It's hokey and campy and actually kind of fun when you watch it that way and stop taking it so seriously. It tries so hard to be serious. It puts on a very serious face. But it ain't happening for me. It is too funny. And like, yeah, I enjoyed watching it again because it's a nice little break, like a nice little watered down kind of horror movie where it's just like, okay, let's just get into the story and, just kind of zone out on it and okay. You know, I have a plethora of other movies that are like fucking whoa. Like yesterday, me and my gal watched Land of the Dead. Been a while since I watched it. She's never seen it, and I was like, it's pretty good, you know. And you know, I have enough movies with gore and you know, to change it up, do something different, not be a one trick pony. Entertain myself with variety instead of one little deliosis. But yeah, I know what you did last summer. Like, it's retro now. Shit, dude, this thing is old as fuck now, and fun, you know. So I don't know. Go watch it, or watch it if you want to be like you're stupid for putting that on because that movie kind of sucks. I don't want to watch Freddie Prinze Jr. walk around and act like a poor person because he's not really good at acting like a poor person on a fisher boat. He's really not at all. And I like that Johnny Galecki's in it. Johnny Galecki, always be David from fucking Roseanne, but he manages in this to actually, it's like, he could have been the campiest character. You know, when he pulls up and they're next to the road there on that, you know, opening scene with the body and everything, he could have been like, you know, trying to look sinister and doing the little like eye squint thing, but then like moving eyebrows like, I know. And it could have turned like really campy, but I think he did really well at kind of just having like this shit attitude, like where he's just got a chip on his shoulder. He actually does a very good job. I think he's actually a better actor than people think, you know, and like he is, like if I see him in something, I'm like, right on, you know, because I think he's a good actor. Johnny Galecki, he should have had a bigger part in this. Johnny Galecki should have had a bigger part in this and been on screen more. That's my thoughts. But all right, I'm done yapping about this. Yeah, so I know what you did last summer. I know. You don't know I know, but I know that you know that I know what you did last summer. Probably could have waited till the 4th of July, but too little early. Don't matter. But all right, this has been Reviewedly Interrupted. And I am your host, Pootie Tang. Thank you for joining me. Good night and good luck. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. You're gonna need it. Yeah. Water time.